Okay, the role of electrolytes in the sports drinks. Why do we bother with them? Well, basically they help us with fluid balance. I look at one in particular, and obviously we lose a lot of them in sweat during exercise, especially in hot, humid conditions, so we need to replace them. One I'll look at, have a quick look at it, is basically sodium or salt. Okay, you find most sports drinks contain some sort of sodium, and the reason why that is, if you think of it in a sort of something like a bar situation where people give out, or somebody that sells drinks and people give out free peanuts or crisps. And what they're trying to do is actually encourage you to drink, because there are obviously a lot of salt in peanuts and in crisps. Same with salty food, putting a lot of salt, pre-putting salt in food for people so that they actually get thirsty. And basically what happens is sodium is one of the things in your blood that actually helps control thirst. So if your body senses that sodium levels are high, then it will think that you're dehydrated because your blood plasma levels are low, and it will encourage you to actually drink. If it thinks they're normal or low, then it thinks you're well hydrated, and it'll stop you. Actually, it won't stop you drinking, but it will stop the thirst sensation. Basically, you think of it in terms of something like a Bunsen burner. So we've got a container as if we were at school. Okay, and we've got our rather bad Bunsen burner and a container for liquid. Now if I put some sort of liquid in that container, okay, so put some sort of liquid in that container, and then I put some sodium in the container. Okay, so there's an amount of sodium in the container, so I put it in and it obviously dissolves. If I then turn on my Bunsen burner, you answer the question for yourself, what's going to start happening? Well, obviously the water will start to heat up and eventually will start to evaporate, so we'll get evaporation occurring. Okay, so evaporation will start to occur and the water level will actually drop. However, the sodium content will not drop. Okay, so the sodium will stay the same, still the same amount of sodium, it's the water that's evaporated off. So between before we started the Bunsen burner and after starting the Bunsen burner, the sodium concentration has actually went up. So if we tasted the water before and we tasted it after, it would seem more salty, because the water level has went down, but the amount of salt has stayed the same. Therefore, the concentration of the sodium will have went up, and the water has become more salty. If you think of this in terms of the body, when we start to do exercise, we start to sweat. Okay, we start to lose fluid. As we do that, the sodium concentration, or the plasma levels in our blood start to decrease, so we start to lose fluid from the blood. That will increase the concentration of sodium in the blood. That sodium concentration heightened in the blood will actually make us want to drink, so it encourages us to start to drink. If we just drink plain water and we drink lots of it, then our plasma volume levels will start to increase slightly again. Problem is, when they get up to the amount that we're back in balance sodium wise, then we'll stop feeling thirsty and we will stop basically feeling the urge to drink. The problem then is we'll start to pee, because all this water will turn on our kidneys and we'll start to actually get rid of some of that water. So in that scenario we can end up dehydrated again. So what we do is we put a little taste of sodium in the sports drink, so that when we do drink it, it not only tops up our fluid levels, but also increases that sodium concentration by a wee bit, which encourages us to keep on drinking more than we usually would. And as we've said before, you're looking to take about 1.5 times more fluid on board than you've actually lost. So that wee bit of sodium in it increases sodium concentration, or keeps the sodium concentration in the blood high, and means we'll actually drink more. We'll be encouraged to drink and replace that 1.5 times. Okay, so that's one of the rules basically of why there's electrolytes in our sports drink.